This is FYI on your TV, brought to you by Hometown News. I'm Kathy Botham, and it's an early start here on FYI this morning. We have to thank our special guest for coming here to get here before work, too. And you as well, Robbie. Thanks for joining us today, my co-host.
You're very welcome.
And you've got a special guest with you. I'm going to throw it over to you.
My guest today is Kristy Tait. She is a teacher at St. Francis de Sales School and came here early to talk to us. Thanks for joining us early this morning.
Well, thank you for inviting me to be here.
You are directing another play at St. Francis again this year. How many plays do you have directed?
I did a little count in my head this morning. I think I've done 12 at school or so, somewhere around there. And I've done another handful with Perth Community Choir in Perth.
Can you tell names some of the plays you have directed?
So I started when I very first started teaching at St. Francis over 20 years ago now. I started with some really little ones. One was called Three of a Kind, and they had smaller casts. And then when I got more of a feel with it, I started doing some of the bigger ones like Zeusical Jr. and the Broadway Juniors, Annie and Pirates of Penzance, and this year, James and the Giant Peach.
This year, you are doing James and the Giant Peach. How do you pick which plays you are going to perform?
There's a few different things I think about when we choose a play. I definitely think about something I'm going to enjoy because it's a lot of work. Every week is 5 to 10 hours of work with the kids, and then all the planning that gets involved with blocking scenes and choreography that happens even before we get into the school. So something that I like, that I'm going to have fun with. And then I think about what students I have. This year, we're already thinking about, who's in grade 6 and will be leaving the school this year, and who do we have coming up in the grades. So we also try and think about shows that are suited to the students we have, and then also that we'll think they'll enjoy. And I tend to pick shows, like I know the Disney shows are available, but I feel like everybody has clear expectations and knows those shows really well. So I also like to introduce the students to something new that they might not already know really well, so they get to experience some of the less huge Broadway shows.
What is James and the Giant Peach about?
So James and the Giant Peach, I can speak, is based on a Roald Dahl novel, and it's about a boy whose parents die, and the kids at school have already teased me that I seem to only pick shows about orphans. His parents die at the beginning of the story in a very sort of silly, over-the-top rhinoceros accident at the London Zoo. And then he has to go live with his evil aunts, and Roald Dahl likes his really evil villains. And then some magic happens, and this peach on his property with all these insects in it grow enormous, and he goes on this amazing adventure and finds a beautiful new family with all of them.
How many students are in the play?
So between our kids who are going to be performing on stage, there's about 100 kids who are actually in the show, and then we have another group of students who are helping behind the scenes, helping run the play. So I'd say we probably have between 110 and 120 students involved in getting the show ready.
How do rehearsals work with that many students?
I'm very loud. That helps a bit. But a lot of it is just being really organized, so I know exactly what we're going to be doing so that the students aren't waiting around. It is also, though, a really good experience for the kids in learning that sometimes they have to be able to wait quietly and get ready for what's coming on. And I treat them the same way I do when I direct adults. I have expectations for the show, and we act just like we would if we were in a grown-up show. You know, we learn things like being quiet backstage and not peeking around the curtains. And the students are grouped, so we have some of the younger kids with some of the older kids, but they also learn. So COVID, we had a bit of a break where the students didn't have all that practice over time. But now some of these students have done 3 shows in a row with me and with our team, so they know what the expectations are, and then they can teach that to the younger students as well. So work, but also just high expectations for the students. And then if they can't meet those expectations, sometimes it's not the right activity for them to do.
The stage and the props you have used turn the gym into a real life theater. Where did you get them?
So we actually build an entire stage using standard theater 4x8 risers. We have some of those that we've had for a long time that were actually built for us by the St. Luke construction program. And then we borrow some from Perth Community Choir. And then we put all of those together, and we have parents come in who help. We change the leg heights every year, so some of those get rebuilt, and we put the railings on them to keep them safe. And we have curtains and everything we set up that we've purchased over time. So when people come to the show and pay for their tickets, that's where their money goes, into building the next year's performance. And then our props, we reach out to our families in the school and see if people have things we can borrow. And then we have a team of staff members who will go out and find all the other bits and pieces we need that we can't borrow from people.
What are the dates and times for the performance?
So we have, I've got to count this right, we have 4 shows coming up. We start on the 25th of April, so that will be an evening performance. And then we have on Saturday, we have a matinee in the afternoon, and then and our evening performances are earlier because our students are younger. And then we have a matinee performance on Sunday. So we do 1 show Friday, 2 shows Saturday, another show Sunday. We do a show for the school on Friday afternoon, but that's just for our school community.
How do you get tickets?
So tickets for the show, it's reserved seating, and you can get tickets through eventbrite.ca. And if you search for St. Francis de Sales or James and the Giant Peach, will come up, and all our performances are there, and people can pick what seats they would like in our theater that we build in the gym.
Thank you for joining us today, and we look forward to seeing James and the Giant Peaks starting April 25th. Get your tickets.
We look forward to seeing this. I'm really looking forward to how you make the peach.
We've come up with a few creative. Some of it is theater of the mind, that we will have something physical on stage, but it's there the whole time. So it's a bit of imagining of people seeing something out there while the audience can see something on the stage.
And
so
I've been to a few practices too. My grandson's in the play, and it's just amazing. Like, there's the commitment of these 110, 120 children that you've got helping you here or being in the play. But it's their commitment, and they want to do it, and they're amazing. And you've got great control, if that's the right word. But they listen to you, you and your team.
Yeah,
so.
I would like to shout out my team. Mm-hmm. For years, I did this kind of on my own, and the staff at St. Francis de Sales is so incredibly supportive, and we've got so many secret talents in our staff, like finding out a certain someone has competitive dance background that I could now pull in to help choreograph. And so it's just really nice for staff to shine too, and for students to get to build those relationships and have such a beautiful little team that we can create every year with these productions.
They're just as committed too. They're having a lot of fun with it too.
100%.
So look forward to this. You usually sell out at each performance too.
We sure do. Yeah. So if anybody wants to come out, I suggest picking up tickets early. We may have some at the door, but it's not likely.
And as in the past, probably again, flowers are going to be available, and
Yep.
there's a raffle to a 50-50.
So we'll have carnations available to purchase. We will have the 50-50 draw, and we'll have a small canteen for after the show too.
Excellent, excellent.
Yep.
We look forward to it. The start is April 25th at St. Francis de Sales Church, School,
Yep.
and it's James and the Giant Peach. Thanks for joining us so early this morning. We got to get you
Thanks
back
for
to school.
having me.